pretty major airport there in southern Florida, so that's what we're getting a sense of. I've got a couple of voices with me, including Harry Houck, who just popped down on set with me, so I just want to go ahead and bring you in from your years in law enforcement. What's your assessment of this?
Well, let's look and see what we got first here. We got 5 people that are shot.
5 killed.
5 killed, all right.
And I should mention the shooter is in custody.
Right, the shooter is in custody, and
custody.
apparently the shooter has been shot.
Yes, wounded.
That's what I'm hearing. Right, so, you know, you take a look at it, you know, they said that this might be the baggage area, so we know it's nobody coming off.
See these people running on that screen. Was that, how long ago was that from control room? This is live. This is live, what's happening in the big screen here as you're seeing folks running out of what could be a terminal there in the airport. Have no idea what's going on.
It's really hard to see what's going on.
Frightening.
We don't have any video or live pictures of the area where this occurred. But like I was saying before, you know, if this is in the baggage area, which is pretty easy to get to, there's probably not that much security there.
It's in an unsecured area.
Right, it's a very unsecured area. So the fact that, how did the shooter arrive? We know the shooter didn't come off a plane. So that
Do we know that?
Well, let's play the odds here and say that, you know, the shooter probably didn't have a gun on the plane.
Right. I mean,
all right, but there's a possibility, but, you know, let's play the odds here. That's what I like to do when I'm doing analysis. I play the odds. What do we really have here that we're looking at? All right, and the fact that, you know, if he did arrive, did he park in a area, or did he pull up with his car as if he was going to pick somebody up?
Harry, hang on. Let me just interrupt you. We've got Judah Fernandez on the phone, who's a witness, who is one of these individuals running right now. Judah, it's Brooke. You're on CNN. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Can you tell me what's going on?
It's kind of a mess right now. Honestly, we got back inside like half an hour ago, and something happened while I was on the phone waiting to chat with you. Everybody just sprinted outside again, and so we just ran out again, and we're back out onto the tarmac. I honestly don't know what's happening, but this is round 2.
Catch your breath for me, and let me just ask, you know, if you all were let back inside the airport, what was that something that happened? Did you hear some sort of explosion? What led you to run?
On the second time or the first?
I know what happened the first time. There was a shooting. The second time, what happened?
The second time, we just saw people running and security running again and telling us to run outside. And I think people are just freaked out right now. So I don't even know if anything, actually, I don't know. But people are scared, and they just started running, so everyone's running now.
Where are you right now?
We're out on the tarmac. We're just outside now again.
How many people are around you, Judah?
My thoughts here. Right now, a couple hundred people are out, and more people are filing out, rushing out again. People are still running out.
You know, the fact that we saw them going back in the terminal, you know, we're all thinking, hey, this is safe.
Well, they said it was an active crime scene.
Right, but if it's an active crime scene and they're going back, how do they know if they cleared that area? How do we know if there's another shooter? Or
Judah, what was the sense? Where were you being kept inside the airport?
We were at our gate. There were guards, military guards, with guns and everything. They were doing a sweep. Everything looked like it was calming down. And then this happened again. So I'm too close to it. I can't tell what's going on.
I understand, and listen, I would be freaked out too. I can't imagine witnessing a shooting and then being kept at an airport. I feel for you. Where were you when the shooting happened, Judah? Were you inside?
Yeah, we were inside. We were in the gate as well, but the gate is quite close. The airport is a smaller one, so the baggage claim is really not that far from where our gate was. So the woman who was next to me actually running out, she saw the shooter, and she actually saw him pull the gun. She ran outside with us, so she was freaking out, and completely understand. But I'm just glad my wife and daughter are okay. So I'm sure everybody's just worried about their family, so.
I'm glad you were okay and your wife and daughter, but hang on a second. So if where you were sitting was close to the baggage claim area, did you hear the pop, pop, pop of the gun?
Sorry, you're breaking up a lot.
I know you're outside. I know it's windy. Let me speak up. Did you hear the shots from where you were sitting with your wife and child?
We heard something, and I'm thinking they were shots now. In hindsight, in retrospect, we heard something, and then immediately after, we saw people running and screaming. But from the distance we thought it could have been anything. But now, I'm pretty certain what we heard were shots.
And though you said the woman sitting next to you, she says she saw the shooter pull the gun.
Yes. She wasn't. She was in baggage claim.
By the way, Judah, as I'm talking to you, I just want to tell our viewers, these are live pictures. Being totally transparent, I don't know what's going on. This is some kind of commotion on the tarmac. You have officials and other just individuals, it looks like, potentially passengers, all rushing around to address whatever is happening. This is all part of probably this group, including Judah, who's on the phone with me, who heard something happened inside of the airport for them to rush out again. Judah, I've got one more question for you. Are you still with me?
Yes.
Did the woman describe the gun?
No, I didn't. We got there. We got inside. We sat down for 5 minutes, and she was crying and telling us her story. But I didn't get very much. But she was right. She was right there in baggage claim, and she heard 3 shots before she ran off. That was what I heard from her. But then now we're running away on the tarmac now again.
Did she say whether the shooter said or shouted anything?
No, nothing was confirmed on that.
Do you see her by any chance? Is she still around?
No, everyone is kind of panicked right now. Everyone ran in different directions.
Are you anywhere
near?
You
know what? This is kind of crazy. I'm really sorry. I want to.
You get off the phone with me, Judah. Get off the phone and go take care of your wife and your child. Just wanted to have a better understanding of what's going on. Go ahead, Harry.
We'll see from the right side of the picture here, where we have people who are sitting behind something, being covered from, I would guess potential gunfire. So apparently, there looks like there still is a threat there. Based on what this witness just heard, whether or not he had heard shots or not. He says he might have heard shots when they came back out. So this still might be an active scene. There's a possibility. You got to always go on the fact that there might be more than one shooter.
Well, let's be careful.
I'm not saying that there is.
But what he said was there was something. He just saw people running that second time. He heard the shots initially.
Right.
He was sitting in the gate. He ran out, right? But then everybody was essentially cordoned back inside. He said people saw or heard something. And everyone started running back out,
okay.
And that's why we're seeing this group of people.
Right.
But why that one particular group was all sort of hunched behind that truck is still a mystery.
That's still a mystery. I mean, you could see that apparently the people that work at the airport are probably getting some information in their earpieces or on their walkie-talkies also, telling that the people that are outside on the tarmac should take some kind of cover in the event any gunshots come that way. As you can see another photograph right here, or another video of people just standing around there. I guess it's been declared pretty safe in that area from any potential gunfire or anything like that.
I am just getting actually a text as I'm listening to you from someone from my high school in Atlanta. Apparently a college counselor was saved by his laptop. We're gonna try to get in touch with this employee who was sitting there, and I'm staring at this picture of the bullet in his laptop. My goodness. Again, if you are just joining us, there was a shooting at the Fort Lauderdale International Airport within the last hour. It happened somewhere around either the upstairs arrival area or the baggage claim area, but bottom line, it sounds like it was in an unsecured area. The lone shooter, again, this is according to law enforcement, they believe there was one individual responsible. It's a he, and that person is in custody. He was wounded. He was shot. He's being treated, and law enforcement are going to have many, many questions for him as far as why. I have Philip Levine, Mayor of Miami Beach, Florida, is with me now. Mr. Mayor, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, what do you make of all of this?
It's a tragedy. It's horrible. Clearly, I just happened to be in New York for something else and happy to be here, but this is a disaster. Our thoughts go out to the families of these tragic, the victims. And of course, this is a situation where clearly across the country, everyone is experiencing these types of situations. This is very unique. I could say that I spoke to the airport director at Miami International Airport. They're beefing up security right now dramatically, and of course they expect to have a lot more passengers flowing through there, because from what I understand, and this is a fluid situation, Fort Lauderdale International Airport may be closed. It is closed at this point right now.
But we've seen some planes taking off. Actually, I've got two more items. More running here on the tarmac. It's frightening. It's the question mark. When you tell everyone you think everything's okay, and then suddenly you see people panicked. Boris Sanchez is there on scene. Boris, why are people running? What's going on?
Brooke, the short answer is we have no idea. What we're watching right now is police screening a parking garage that's across the street from Terminal 2. What you're seeing right now are officers going floor by floor, scanning that area. This all happened about 10 minutes ago. We started hearing people screaming, and we turned around to Terminal 2. I'm just going to have my photographer here show you where it was, just down the street over there. This is Terminal 2. This is the second floor. On the lower floor, in the baggage claim area, is where the shooting took place. When we arrived here, there was a huge crowd of people just outside that door, and then just a short while ago, there was screaming and shouting. We looked over, and there were at least half a dozen armed officers, armed with long guns, that started running in that direction. Since then, in just a few short moments, we started hearing people screaming on the tarmac here. You could actually, if we get closer, you could see people evacuating onto the runways right now. We started seeing people that were here in this area to my left just start running and screaming and shouting. Again, we don't know exactly why. A short while later, we heard the same thing coming from Terminal 1 over here, this area to my right. There is panic and confusion, and right now, as I said, there was more screaming on the other side of this parking garage where this screening is underway. We don't know the situation right now, but there are hundreds of people spread across this airport asking us what is happening. They are clearly confused and frightened. I've seen several people crying, several people shaking, and just trying to get out of this area. It is extremely difficult because there is traffic everywhere trying to get in and out of this airport. Again, this all started at 1 o'clock. There were reports of shots fired. In the building behind me, that's Terminal 2 on the first floor in baggage claim. That's where the shooting was reported. Multiple casualties, at least 8 people taken to. As we start watching more people running, what you're seeing is people running away from.
What is going on?
Terminal 1. And if you look over to my right, Dom, if you just look over to my right and you see down here, this officer is evacuating people from that first floor. And Brooke, as I said before, there's panic and confusion, and we're not sure what we are witnessing here. If this is perhaps more of what we saw earlier in the baggage claim area, or if this is perhaps just security trying to sweep the area and people becoming panicked when they see these officers moving in with long weapons. But again, there is panic and confusion here, and this is going to take quite a long time to clean up and figure out, Brooke.
Let me stay with you, Boris, as we'll talk to my legal law enforcement guys to my right, who are all sort of saying this seems so disorganized, but I want to stay with you. Show me around where this happened, because that seems to be a point of confusion.
Right. So let's come this way. This is the second terminal at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Fort Lauderdale International Airport has 2 levels. The one we're on now, the upper level, is for departures. The lower one is for arrivals. The shooting happened in the lower level at baggage claim of this terminal. And again, when we got here a short while ago, there were several dozen people outside. They appear to have been speaking with law enforcement. There was some confusion as to where you could go and where you couldn't go. We were actually turned around and had to make another loop around the airport. And we had no real idea of who, again, where you couldn't go. In other words, where the situation, where this investigation was unfolding. It appeared that they were starting to evacuate people from other terminals. There were buses lined up in order to do that. But again, just a short while ago, not 15 minutes ago, we saw that crowd that was over there disperse completely. There were at least, as I said, half a dozen heavily armed officers running in that direction to the other terminals. The airport forms a loop, so it appears that they're running to the other terminals. Just a short while ago, we heard some shouting from the other side of that parking garage. It's unclear if it was perhaps inside that parking garage, but as you saw when we first joined you, there were officers going floor to floor, armed, scanning and screening that area. And we just saw moments ago people on the lower floor running, and then we saw people again that were close to the boarding areas start running toward the tarmac, and I'm not really sure where they've gone. You see people on the other side of the airport. They've run that far away, and if you look over here, this is again where people were huddled just a few moments ago, and an officer was getting them out of the way. They're now hiding behind cars. Brooke, we don't know exactly what is going on here, but it is chaos and confusion.
Boris, who's standing around you? Is there any way on the fly here we can just grab some people? I don't know if those are passengers or folks waiting for people who are stuck in the airport. Can you try to grab someone while we're live on CNN?
Sure. Just a moment, Brooke. Excuse me, ladies. Would you mind telling us what you're going through right now?
My family's in Terminal 2. I was taking the rental car back and kind of waiting between Terminal 1 and the rental car place. Everybody started running out of Terminal 1, out of the rental car place. Some lady was yelling for help down in the garage, so I just ran, and here I am.
Were you here earlier? What time did you...
I've been here probably, what time is it? Probably about 12:30.
And what did you see unfolding around 1 o'clock?
I was returning the rental car, and my family just said stay there because they were putting everybody in a safe place in Terminal 2 because they heard gunshots, and they ran. My 90-year-old grandma's in there. She ran. Yeah, they're fine. They're in a Delta staff lounge. And, back to Michigan.
So, as you just heard, Brooke, just like this young lady here, there are several other families that are essentially stranded as Fort Lauderdale Airport has closed down operations. We're going to keep getting more information and bring it to you as soon as we get our heads around what we're watching here.
Bless her heart. All those people waiting and wondering. Boris, thank you. Thank you to you and your crew. Jonathan Wackrow has just been seated. He's former Secret Service. What do you make of this? People just running and running? What's going on?
Listen, law enforcement has shown up onto an active scene, and they're going through their protocols for an active shooter. They're going out there, one, trying to stop the active shooter, and two, provide, a secure environment. Everything that we're seeing right now is just confusion. We're seeing different groups, whether it's airport operations, the crisis communication is really falling apart here. To see that much confusion on the air side, which is supposed to be the secure side, which is where the planes are, is absolutely amazing to me. People are dispersing in all locations. Again, the airport authority is not controlling that situation on both sides. Law enforcement, first and foremost, is showing up to do the job, to put the threat down. Other organizations that are there are supposed to work in tandem to that to remove the public, get them away from the threat. Here we see a threat that was, just yards away, and people are sitting on the sidewalk. That, to me, makes no sense. Ari?
Yeah, Jonathan, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth here. The fact is that we see all these people running. If you're, let's say we're in the airport and something like this happens, if there was no direction, you were just going to take off. All right, you can go in any direction you can. So if you're beyond security and you hear gunshots and you know something is going on, if they're not directing you in the airport where to go, you're going to run right out to the tarmac. Now, what they should do is they should have protocols, and this is not on the police. Like John said, the police are there for one reason and one reason only, to get rid of that threat and secure that location. This is the airport that's got to have protocols together. In the event something like this happens, where are these people going to go? When you've got all these people on the tarmac, there ain't going to be no more flights taken out of this airport. There are probably people that went past security without even being checked. All right, in the event when this is finally all over, all right, everybody's going to have to come back and go through security again to be able to take off out of that airport. It's a lot of confusion here. There's no direction out there on the tarmac. You can see some people run this way, some people running that way. Who's out there directing them to where they should go, which is a safe location?
All right, gentlemen, stand by. I've got Florida Senator Bill Nelson, who's joining me now. Senator Nelson, you know, it's a tragedy. You have at least five lost lives, 8 injured, and it seems like chaos. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I just got off the phone with Admiral Neffinger, the head of TSA. 5 deaths that we know of. The shooter is Esteban Santiago. He had a military ID. We don't know if that is an accurate ID or if it is a current ID. But what it portends is that anytime you get a bunch of people bunching up, like at baggage claim, or like outside of TSA where you're going through security, or like lines at the ticket counter, it's a soft target, and the best deterrence is the dog. Those dog teams, after the German shooting a year ago, we doubled those dog teams, but they take a long time to train, they're expensive. The problem is you just can't have enough dog teams for all the airports and all the crowds that we have.
Senator, hang on, let me just go back 2 thoughts. I mean, this is the first time we have heard a name of a shooter. Where did you got that from, the head of the TSA?
Correct, Admiral Neffinger.
And so he told you it's a man by the name of Esteban Santiago with a military ID.
But we don't know about the accuracy of the ID.
I see.
In other words, we do not. They were pretty sure of his name, but as to the currency or the authenticity of the military ID, we don't know that.
I understand. And Senator, do you have a better understanding of how this unfolded, where this Esteban Santiago was when he pulled a gun out?
Brooke, I think you guys have been doing a great job. You're showing everything live. You're on top of it. They have him in custody, so we will have a full report. The stuff that is being reported now is that people are panicked that there might be other shooters at the airport. You would be more up to date on that. I'm here in Washington in the capital.
I understand, Senator. I understand. Let me ask you, just as a senator from the great state of Florida, and you're looking at this unfold down in Fort Lauderdale, and you know, we just heard from a young woman who's waiting for her 90-year-old grandmother, who's huddled in a Delta staff lounge, you know, and she's terrified. What's your message to these people?
Well, they need to shelter in place, and I'm sure the airport, they've got FBI is leading all of the law enforcement operations. They've got all levels of law enforcement that are there, so I'm sure they're going to be okay. Let me just say that we're pretty sensitized in Florida to guns and tragedy because it, as you remember, the tragedy of the Pulse nightclub.
Orlando.
And it's interesting because just today I'm filing a bill that would have caught that shooter, Mateen, when he had gone to purchase that high caliber rapid fire weapon because he had previously been on the terrorist watch list. I hope we can get some common sense and get that passed.
I want to let you go, Senator Nelson, but one final quick question is we're looking, I don't know if you've seen this, but all these passengers, they almost look like ants all scattered on this tarmac. And I have a former, member of the Secret Service and someone who's been a police officer for decades telling me this is the picture of disorganized. Care to comment on that?
Well, I talked to the airport director, Gail. They seem to have, this is as of 30, 45 minutes ago, they seem to have everything under control. But all of this eruption that you're talking about now is occurring since. So if it's that there is another active shooter there, he will be brought to justice.
Okay, Senator Bill Nelson, thank you so much from Washington, taking the time to talk to us about what's happening there at the Fort Lauderdale Airport.